Hello students, welcome back. Today we are going to cover units 5, 6, 7 and 8. In this video we will look at the teachings of the Buddha and how his followers adopted them. We will also learn about stupas, where they were located, why they were built, how they were constructed and their structure. Finally, we will explore how historians discover and studied these stupas. Now let's begin the class. The teachings of the Buddha. Sources of Buddha's teachings. The teachings of the Buddha are reconstructed mainly from stories in the Sutta Pitaka. Some stories show his miraculous powers, but many show he used reason and persuasion to teach people. What do you mean by persuasion? Convincing someone through reasoning. For example, he helped a grieving mother understand the inevitability of death instead of performing miracles. Inevitable meaning something that cannot be avoided. Stories were narrated in common spoken language so ordinary people could understand. Nature of the world. The world is transient. That means anika, always changing, nothing permanent. The world is soulless, ananta, nothing eternal or fixed. Human life contains sorrow, dukkha. Suffering is natural to existence. So what one should do to avoid all this? They have to follow a middle path between severe penance and self-indulgence. View on God and society. Early Buddhism considered the existence of God irrelevant to liberation. Society was seen as human made, not divinely created. The Buddha advised rulers and householders to act ethically, meaning morally right, and humanly, showing compassion or love. Individual effort can improve social relations. Path to liberation. The Buddha stressed individual agency. Here it is called as personal responsibility. Escape from rebirth requires righteous actions, self realization, ending desire and ego. This leads to nibbana, meaning ending suffering and rebirth. So, what was the final message? Depend on yourself for liberation, be lambs unto yourselves. So, that is Unit 5. Now, let's move on to Unit 6. Followers of the Buddha. Formation of the Sangha. A group of disciples of the Buddha grew over time. He founded the Sangha, an organization, a group of monks who taught Dhamma. Dhamma, righteous teachings. Monks lived simple lives with only basic necessities. They carried a bowl and collected food once a day from lay people, that is, non monks. Because they lived on alms, charity food, they were called bhikkhus. Entry of women into Sangha. At first, only men could join the Sangha. Later, women were admitted after Ananda persuaded the Buddha. Mahapajapati Gotami became the first ordained bhikkhuni. Many women became teachers and respected elders called theirs. Liberated women teachers. Social equality in Sangha. Followers came from all social backgrounds, say kings, wealthy men, gahapatis, that is householders or landowners, workers, slaves, craft people. All of these people, they became the followers. So now, after joining the Sangha, previous identities disappeared. All members were treated as equal. Decisions were taken through discussions and consensus, that is, agreement. If agreement failed, voting was used. Spread and appeal of Buddhism. Buddhism spread rapidly during and after Buddha's life. It attracted people unhappy with existing religious practices. Reasons for popularity: first, importance of conduct and moral values. Second, no superiority based on birth. Third, stress on metta, meaning friendliness or fellow feeling. Fourth, stress on karuna, meaning compassion or kindness. These ideas appealed to many people during social change. That is the end of Unit 6. Moving on to stupas. This is a very important topic. Sacred places and chaityas. Buddhist ideas developed through dialogue with traditions of Brahmanas, Jainas, and others. From early times, people considered certain places sacred, that is, holy, such as sites with special trees, unique rocks, beautiful natural surroundings. Small shrines built at such places were called chaityas. So, chaityas is a sacred prayer site. Buddhist text mentions sacred places linked to the life of the Buddha. For example, his birth was connected to Lumbini. The Enlightenment happened in Bodh Gaya. His first sermon he gave at in Sarnath, Nibbana in Kusingara. About 200 years later, Ashoka erected a pillar at Lumbini to mark his visit. Why were stupas built? Some sacred sites contained relics. We have already seen what is the meaning of relics. They are remains of belongings of the Buddha. Um, those these were covered by mounds called stupas. Stupa building may have existed before Buddhism, but later became linked with it. Since relics were sacred, stupas were deeply respected. According to Ashokavadana, Ashoka distributed relics and built stupas across towns. By 2nd century CE, stupas were built at Barhat, Sanchi, Sarnath. How were stupas built? Inscriptions show donations funded constructions and decorations. Donors included kings, for example, Shatavahanas, guilds. Who were these guilds? Group of workers like ivory craftsmen, ordinary men and women, bhikkhus and bhikkhunis. Donors often recorded their names, occupations, and hometowns. Structure of a stupa. Stupa means heap in Sanskrit. Now let us look into the main parts of stupa. The first one is anda, semicircular mound of earth. That was the main dome. Harmika, that is the second one. Square railing on top represents home of gods. Yashti, the third one. Central pillar rising upward. Fourth one, Chhatri, umbrella-like structure on top. Fifth one, railing. Separate sacred and ordinary space. Early stupas like those at Sanchi and Bahat were plain except carved gateways. Gateways placed at four cardinal directions: north, south, east, and west. Worshippers circled clockwise, keeping stupa upright, just imitating sun's path. Later, stupa became richly decorated. So that is about stupas. Now let's move on to the Unit 8. Discovering stupa. Discovery of the stupa at Amaravati. In 1796, a local ruler accidentally found the ruins of stupa at Amaravati while building a temple. He removed stones for construction and searched for treasure. Later, Colin Mackenzie visited the site. He documented sculptures and made drawings, but they were not published. Removal of sculpture. In 1854, Walter Elliot collected sculpture panel. What do you mean by the word panel? Stone pieces with carvings, and took them to Madras. Present day, it is called as Chennai. These were called Elliot marbles. He realized the stupa was magnificent and large. By the 1850s, slabs were removed to Asiatic Society of Bengal, located in Calcutta. India offers in Madras and London. British officials often decorated gardens with these sculptures. Removal continued because earlier officials had done the same. Protest against looting. Archaeologist H.S. Cole opposed removal. He called it a harmful policy to loot the cultural objects. Suggested museums display plaster cast facsimiles. Wanted originals preserved in situ, that is, at original location. His idea failed for Amaravati but succeeded for Sanchi. Why Sanchi survived? Scholars later realized the value of preserving monuments. When Sanchi was discovered in 1818, three gateways intact, one fallen but present, mount in good condition. Though removal was suggested, preservation won. Amaravati suffered because it was discovered earlier before awareness. Today, Amaravati is mostly a damaged mount, while Sanchi remains preserved. And thus we have come to the end of this video. So far, we have covered units 5, 6, 7, and 8. I have provided you with questions based on these units. Please revise the lesson and practice writing answers to them. I will see you in the next video update where we continue with the remaining chapters. Thank you.